हेलो एवरीवन, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट टू पोर्ट नेटवर्क चैप्टर फॉर and equivalent network. We have studied this. Then after we are going to study today transmission line parameter. Today our goal is transmission line parameter. Second, after transmission line parameter, second is relationship between all parameters. Relationship between all parameters. These are the major topics which we are going to study today. Then after 60% of our two-port network is over. Okay. So these are the major topics which we are going to discuss today. First of all, transmission line parameter. First of all, we are going to discuss transmission line parameter. Or it is also known as ABCD parameters. In transmission line, we know the voltage and current of load, and we know the voltage of current and load. So our known term will be output voltage and output current. So in transmission line, what will happen? In transmission line, we know that the voltage across load and current through the load. Okay. So this is our section of transmission line. Here input voltage V1, input current I1, output current I2, and output current V2, output voltage V2. So we know that the output voltage and output current of transmission line. So our known term will be output voltage and output current. So independent variable will be output voltage and output current. And input voltage and input current is dependent variable. Second point, we have to note that the I2 current we will take here will be in outward direction, that outward from the second port. In Z parameter, it will be in inward direction. In Y parameter, it will be in inward direction. But in ABCD parameter, the I2 current will be in Z direction. So output current will be taken in here, input current I1 and V1. Output current we will take here is outward direction, I2 and V2. And in this case, there is a parameter ABCD parameter. So in this case, the equation of current and voltage will be, in this case the equation of current and voltage will be, here V1 is equal to A V2 plus B I2, and I1 will be equal to C V2 plus D I2. This is the part here, and the matrix will be like this: V1 I1 and ABCD and matrix will be B2 I2. So it will be like this. If we have taken I2 current inward, if we will take current I2 in inward direction, then what will happen? Then in this case V1 will be equal to A V2 minus B I2. So if we take inward current, so we will consider minus, because in transmission line the I2 will be in outward direction, the I2 current will be in outward direction, so I will consider outward direction as a positive. But here I2 is inward direction, so I will take negative sign. Here I1 will be also C V2 minus D I2. The matrix will not change, V1 I1, but sign of I2 will change. So here sign of I2 is, minus I2. Here sign of I2 is minus. So you can see here, it is a very good point which you have to note that. Then this is the point here. Then second point you have to remember that, second point you have to remember that if two-port network is connected with load, what will happen? If two-port network is connected with load, then ABCD network is connected with load, there is no equivalent diagram for this. Again you should note that there is no equivalent diagram for this. So equivalent network for ABCD matrix is not possible here. Okay. Then if it is connected with load, what will happen? So this one is our I1, yes sir. This one is our V1, yes sir. This one I2, and this one is V2. And the matrix will be ABCD, A, B, C and D. Again it is connected with load. It is connected with load. ZL. Yes sir. It is connected with load ZL. So the voltage direction will be plus minus here. If we apply KVL, then it will be V2 is equal to minus I2 ZL, and V1 is equal to A V2 plus B I2, and I1 is equal to C V2 plus D I2. Yes sir. And here Zn will be equal to like this. So Zn will be equal to V1 by I1. So it will be A V2 plus B I2 and C V2 plus D I2. Yes sir. I will replace I2 with V2 upon ZL, or V2 with I2 ZL. You can replace anything. So I will replace V2 with I2 ZL and BI2 plus CI2 ZL plus DI2. I2 will be cancelled out, so Zn will be equal to AZL plus B and 𝐂𝐳𝐿 plus D. So this is our Zin. This is our Zin. It is a very easy part. It is a very easy part. Then we will go for next part. Which part? If source is connected and Z out, they will ask. If source is connected and Z out, they will ask. What will happen? So we will go for next part. So current will be flowing like this. So it will be something like this, and here Zs will be there. So what is Z out? They will ask Z out. Yes. So what is the relation between V1 and I1? V1 and I1 will be V1 is equal to minus I1 into Zs. Yes sir. And second part is V1 is equal to AV2 plus BI2. Yes sir. AV2 plus BI2. I will replace with I1 Zs AV2 plus BI2. Yes sir. AV2 plus BI2. Okay. Then I will replace I1. Again we have I1 is equal to AV2 plus BI2, and but Z out will be BI2 divided by minus I1 minus Zs, and I1 is equal to second equation. I1 is equal to CV2 plus DI2. CV2 plus DI2. This is first equation. CV2 plus DI2. I will put this in the second equation. It will be AV2 plus BI2 is equal divided by Zs minus Zs CV2 plus DI2. Yes sir. I will multiply with Zs, so A plus 𝐶Zs B2 and minus D Zs B plus DZs into I2. Z out will be equal to, so Z out will be equal to minus V2 upon minus I2, because I2 current is outward. So Z out will be equal to V2 upon minus I2, because I2 current is outward. So it will be V2 upon I2, so it will be B plus DZs divided by A plus 𝐶Zs. So this is the formula for Z out. Okay. So we have calculated Z out, we have calculated Z in, so we have calculated everything. Z out and Z in both. Tomorrow class, what we will do? In tomorrow class, I will take every equation, HABCD parameter, Z in formula for Z in terms of ABCD, Z in terms of Z parameter, Z in terms of Y parameter, Z in terms of H parameter, and Z in terms of G parameter. So Z in or Y in terms of G, H, Y, every parameters, in terms of all 5 parameters, and Z out in terms of all 5 parameters. VTH in terms of all 5 parameters, and RTH in terms of all 5 parameters. So these are the main points you have to derive every time. If you derive every time VTH, RTH, Z in, Z out in terms of all parameter, then one question may be asked, and that question you will solve very easily. That question you will solve very easily, because two-port network is a very big topic. You have to understand very clearly. Okay. Then we will go for next point. Next point, what we are going to discuss, relationship between H parameter, Y parameter, Z parameter, something like that. So relate us relationship between all parameter. Relationship between all parameter. Relationship between all parameter. If you understand the relationship, then in this year one question is asked in electrical between the from relationship. So relationship is also important. So first relationship, what you have done, what you will do, first relationship, what is Z parameter? Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. This is the parameter here. Yes sir. So what we will do, we will derive and we will fill up the boxes. First of all we will derive, then we will fill up the boxes, so that you will understand each and every point very clearly. Okay. So we will derive and we will understand each and every point. This is our Z11, Z12, Z21, okay. Okay, so this is our Z parameter, Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. First of all, in terms of Y parameter, what it will be? In terms of Y parameter, what it will be? So in terms of Y parameter, it will be Y11. What it will be? Y22 divided by delta Y. And second one is Y minus times of Y1, Y2, Y12 divided by delta Y. Minus times of Y12 divided by delta Y. Minus times of Y21 divided by delta Y. And minus times Y11 divided by delta Y. Yes, sir. So this is our Y parameter. Then after in terms of ABCD parameter, in terms of H parameter, you have to know in terms of H parameter, in terms of ABCD parameter, okay, in terms of G parameter, you have to calculate. Okay, so I am going to calculate Z parameter in terms of H parameter, then in terms of G parameter, then in terms of what? In terms of ABCD parameter. Okay, so first of all, what I am going to start, I will going to derive Z parameter in terms of ABCD parameter, H parameter. So V1 is equal to Z11 I1, Z12 I2, and V2 is equal to Z22 I1, Z21 I1, and Z22 I2. Yes sir. This is our H parameter. H parameter is V1, H11 and I1, H12 and V2, and I2 is equal to H21 I1 and H22 V2. Yes sir. So first point is what we will do, we will make I2 is equal to 0, so that we will find out Z11 and Z22. So I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0, then Z11 will be equal to V1 upon I1. Yes sir. And Z21 will be equal to V2 upon I1. Yes sir. So what we will do, I will try to find out in terms of H parameter. So I will make I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0, then there is a relation. So I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0, what will happen? H21 I1 plus H22 V2 will be equal to 0. Yes sir. So what we will find? We will find out V2 by I1. So at H22 V2 will be equal to minus H21 I1. So V2 by I1 will be equal to V2 by I1 will be equal to, so V2 by I1 will be equal to minus H21 upon H22. Yes sir. So V2 by I1 will be equal to minus H21 upon H22. Then we are going to derive what? We are going to derive V1 by I1. V1 by I1. Okay. So in this equation V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. I will replace V2 in terms of I1. So H11 I1, H12, and in place of V2 it will be minus H21 divided by H22 into I1. So I use this formula here. So what will be the V1 upon I1? V1 upon I1 will be equal to so V1 upon I1 will be equal to H11 H22 H12 H21 divided by H22. So it will be H11. So H11 upon H22, what it will be? It will be determinant of H. So delta H upon H22. Delta H upon H22. Yes sir. So this is our Z parameter, Z11 and Z21. Then I will make I1 is equal to 0. Second case, I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0, what will happen? Then there is two parameter Z12. Z12 will be equal to, I will do in the next page. So I will use this equation. This equation here. Okay. So I will go for second case. I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0. What will happen? If I1 is equal to 0, what will happen? So I1 is equal to 0, it will be Z Z12 V1 upon I2 and Z21 Z22 V2 upon I2. Yes, sir. I will make I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0 means V11 H12 I2 V2. Okay. And second one is I2 is equal to H22 V2. So V2 by I2 is equal to V2 by I2 will be equal to, so V2 by I2 will be equal to 1 by H22, 1 by H22. So it will be 1 by H22. Second case, V1 by I2. So V1 by I2 will be equal to, this is from this equation. If divide V1 by I2, it will be H12 and H22. So H12 upon H22. Yes, sir. So this is the formula for which part? Z parameter in terms of H parameter. So delta H upon H22, delta H upon H22. So our answer is in H parameter delta H upon H22 minus H21 upon H22. I think H21 upon H22. Second, H12 upon H22. And third, 1 by H22. So this is our H parameter. This is our H parameter. 1 second, I will check if I have done something wrong. I will check. 1 second. Okay, so our Z21 is minus H21 upon H22 and Z22 is 1 by H22 and Z12 is delta H upon H22 and Z12 is H12 upon H22. Yes, it is correct. Then we will go for next part. Then we will go for next part. Which part? Then we will go for R. 1 second. Our next part will be Z parameter in terms of G parameter. Z parameter in terms of G parameter. So I will write Z parameter B1 Z11 I1 plus Z12 I2 and B2 Z21 I1 plus Z22 I2, and G parameter is I1 B2 B1 I2 B1 I2. So G11 plus G12 plus G21 plus G22. Yes sir. Then I will make I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0. I will try to find out Z11 and Z21. Z11 is V1 by I1 and Z21 will be equal to V2 by I1. Yes sir. Like that, what we will do, I2 is equal to 0. If I2 is equal to 0, what is the equation? I1 G11 into V1, and second equation is V2 G12 into V1, G21 into V1. Yes sir. Then first of all V1 upon I1. So V1 upon I1 will be equal to 1 by G11. So V1 by I1 will be equal to 1 by G11. Second is V2 upon I1. So V2 upon I1 I will divide. So V2 upon I1 will be equal to G21 upon G11. So it will be G21 upon G11. So I will fill up the form. I will fill up here 1 by G11 and G21 upon G11. Then we have second case. Second case is make V1 I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0. Then we have I1 is equal to 0 Z12. Z12 is V1 by I2 and Z21 will be equal to Z22 will be equal to V2 by I2. Yes sir. I will make I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0, that means G11 V1 plus G12 I2. Yes sir. So V1 by I2 will be equal to minus G12 upon G11. So it will be, so the equation will be minus G12 into divided by G11. And second equation is, if I1 is equal to 0, then we have to find out V2 upon I2. So I will put V1. So V1 will be, so V2 will be, I will put in equation 2. So in equation 2, V2 G21 V1 and V1 in terms of I2 is G12 upon G11 V1 I1 I2 and G22 into I2. So V2 by I2 will be equal to G11 G22 G12 G21 divided by G11. So I will put G11. So it will be minus G12 divided by G11, and this one is delta G upon G11. Okay. So this is in terms of Y parameter. This is in terms of H parameter. This is in terms of G parameter. Again we have in terms of ABCD parameter. What will be the equation for in terms of ABCD parameter? in terms of ABCD parameter. ABCD parameter, in this case I2 will be outward current, so in this case also I2 will be outward current. So AV2, BI2 and CV2, DI2, because both cases I2 should be outward current. Yes sir. Case 1, I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0, Z12 V1 upon I2 and Z22 V2 upon I2. Yes sir. Then we have if we make I1 is equal to 0, I1 is equal to 0, CV2 minus DI2. So it will be equal to V2 by I2 will be equal to C by D, D by C. So V2 by I2 is equal to D by C. And I1 is equal to 0. So V1 is equal to AV2 minus BI2. Yes sir. What I will do? I will put V2 in terms of I2. V2 in terms of I2. V2 in terms of I2 is A D by C into I2 minus B I2. So it will be V1 is equal to AD minus BC upon C into I2 divided by I2. So this one is D by C and this one is AD minus BC divided by C. AD minus BC divided by C. So Z11 will be equal to AD minus BC divided by C, and sorry, Z21 will be equal to Z12 will be equal to AD minus BC divided by C, and this one is D by C. This one is D by C. Second case I will make I2 is equal to 0. What I will make? I2 is equal to 0. I2 will be equal to 0. Then we have Z11 V1 upon I1 and Z21 V2 upon I1. Yes sir. I2 is equal to 0. V1 is equal to AV2 and I1 is equal to CV2. Yes sir. So V1 by I1 will be equal to A by C and V2 by I1 will be equal to 1 by C. So V2 by I1 will be equal to 1 by C. So A by C and 1 by C. So it will be A by C and 1 by C. So this is the Z parameter in terms of ABCD. What is delta Y? Delta Y is Y11, Y12 minus Y21, Y22, Y21 and sorry Y11, Y22 and Y21 and Y12. And delta Z is delta H is H11, H22, H12, H21 and delta G is G11, G22, G12, G21 and delta A is AD minus BC, So you have to remember all these things. 1 second, I will check this formula. Z parameter in terms of Z parameter. Okay, so it will be y22 upon delta y, y12 upon delta y, and y21 upon delta y, and y11 upon delta y. Yes, it is good. And in terms of ABCD, A by C, AD minus BC by C, and 1 by C, and D by C. Okay. And in terms of H parameter, delta H upon H22, H12 upon H22, and minus H21 upon H22, and 1 by H22. Yes. Okay, it's good. Then we will go for Y parameter similarly, and we will go for G parameter. Yes, sir. So I will make a table for Y parameter. I will make a table for G parameter, so that you will derive by yourself, because if I will derive, it will be very big topic. If I will derive, it will be very big topic. I will derive as much as possible, but you have to derive by yourself also. So I will derive as much as possible. If I will left something, you have to derive by yourself. Second one is Y parameter. I have to derive Y parameter. So Y parameter, Y11, Y12, Y21, and Y22. First of all, in terms of Z parameter, I have to derive. In terms of Z parameter, what it will be? So in terms of Z parameter, it will be delta Z, Z22 upon delta Z, and minus of Z12 upon delta Z, and Z21 upon delta Z, and Z11 upon delta Z. So this is our Z parameter. In terms of H parameter, I have to derive. In terms of ABCD parameter, I have to derive. In terms of Z parameter, I have to derive. Okay, so I have to derive in terms of Z parameter, H parameter, and ABCD parameter. Okay, here delta Z means Z11, Z22 minus Z12, Z21. Okay, so in terms of H parameter, how we will derive this? This is the big thing here. So I1 is equal to Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2, and I2 is equal to Y21 V1 and Y22 V2. Yes, sir. Second, H parameter V1 and I2, I1 and V2, I1 and V2, I1 and V2, H11, H12, H21 and H22. Yes, sir. What we will do, first of all, I will find out. First case I will take V1 is equal to 0. V1 is equal to 0. That means Y11, Y12. Y12 is equal to I1 upon V2, and V1 is equal to 0. Y22, I2 upon V2. Yes, sir. Next, what we will do? I will make V1 is equal to 0. V1 is equal to 0. H11 I1 plus H12 I2 V2 Yes, sir. So I1 upon V2 is equal to I1 upon V2 will be equal to. So I1 upon V2 will be equal to H minus H12 divided by H11. Again, second case, so it will be minus H12 divided by H11. Yes, sir. Second case is V2 is equal to 0. Sorry. Then what we will do? I will make in this case I will make it is 0. So I1 is equal to V1 is equal to 0. So in this equation nothing will change. H21 I1, H22 V2. Okay. I have to find I2 upon V2. So I1 in terms of V2. So I1 in terms of V2 will be equal to H21 minus H12 divided by H11 and plus H22 into V2. Yes, sir. So I2 upon V2 will be equal to I2 upon V2 will be equal to, it will be equal to H22 H11 minus H12 H21 divided by delta H divided by H11. Yes, sir. So this is V2 upon I2. So V2 upon I2 is delta H upon H11. Second case, V2 is equal to 0. Make it V2 is equal to 0. So second case, V2 is equal to 0. If V2 is equal to 0, what will happen? Y11 and Y21. So Y11 I1 upon V1 and Y21 I2 upon V1. Yes, sir. What I will do? I will make V2 is equal to 0. If V2 is equal to 0, what will happen? It will be V1 is equal to H11 I1 and I2 will be equal to H21 I1. Yes, sir. So V1 by I2 will be, I2 by V1 will be equal to, I2 by V1 will be equal to H21 upon I11 H11 and I2 I1 by V1 is equal to, so I1 by V1 will be equal to 1 by H11. So we have calculated Y12 Y21, we have calculated H21 1 by H11 and H21 upon H11. Yes, sir. So we have calculated everything. So I will fill up the box. What will be H11? H11 will be equal to Y11 will equal to 1 by H11, 1 by H11 and Y12 will be equal to 1 minus H12 upon H11, minus H12 upon H11 and Y21 will be equal to H21 upon H11, H21 upon H11 and Y22 will be equal to delta H upon H11, delta H upon H11. Okay. Then we have G parameters. Which parameter? G parameters. So I will check first Z22, Z122, Z12, Z21, Z11, yes. 1 by H11, H12, Okay. So in terms of y parameter, in terms of h parameter, it will be h12, h21 and h11. Yes, it is good, it is okay. In terms of ABCD parameter, it will be in terms of G parameter. So in terms of G parameter, it will be delta G upon G22, delta G upon G22, delta G upon G22. Yes sir. And second thing is H12, H22, H12 minus H21 and 1, H12 and minus H21, H12 and minus H21 upon G22. This one is upon G22 and 1 by G22. So this is the point in terms of G parameter, in terms of G parameters. Then we will go for ABCD parameters, Y parameters in terms of ABCD parameters. Yes sir. Y parameters in terms of ABCD parameter. So this one is Z V1 I1 is equal to Y11 V1, Y12 V2 and I2 is equal to Y21 V1, Y22 V2. Yes sir. Okay. Then second case is our ABCD parameter. V1 is equal to A V2 minus B I2, because I2 current is inward current in this case, and I1 is equal to C V2 minus D I2. Yes sir, like that. So first case is case 1. Case 1 is V1 is equal to 0. V1 is equal to 0, so Y12 and Y22. Y12 I1 upon V2 and Y22 I2 upon V2. Yes sir. So what I will do, I will make V1 is equal to 0. If V1 is equal to 0, A V2 minus B I2 is equal to 0. Yani that means V2 upon I2 will be equal to B by A. V2 by I2 is equal to B by A. So it will be A by B. Then second case and next case is, in this case I will make V1 is equal to 0, so I1 is equal to C V2 minus D I2. Yes sir. I have to find out I1 upon V2, so I2 will be written as C V2 minus D A by B V2. Yes sir. So I1 upon V2 is equal to AD minus BC minus AD minus times of AD minus BC divided by B. So it will be minus times of AD minus BC, that means delta A divided by B. This is the point here. Second case I will go for B2 is equal to 0. B2 is equal to 0, that means Y11 V1 by I1 and Y21 B2 by I1 by V2. So I1 by V1 and I2 by V2. I1 by V2. I2 by V1, sorry. Yes. Then we have V2 is equal to 0. I will make V2 is equal to 0, so V1 will be equal to minus BI2 and I1 is equal to minus dI2. Yes sir. Then V1 by I1 will be equal to, so I1 by V1 is equal to d by b, and I2 by V1 is equal to minus b, minus 1 by b, minus 1 by b. Yes sir. So we have to find out that things. So our answer will be in terms of H parameter, ABCD parameter, divide by B, divide by B, divide by B, divide by B, and divide by B. Then we have this derivation is very tricky. Then we have 1 1 1 d minus delta minus 1 a, d minus delta minus 1, d minus delta minus 1 a. This is the y parameter in terms of ABCD. I will check. Y parameter in terms of ABCD, d by b minus delta by b minus 1 by b, a by b. Yes, it is correct. So these are the points you should have to remember, and you have to do like that. Okay. Then we have what? ABCD H parameter. H parameter in terms of y and z, in terms of g parameter. So I will find out H parameter. H parameter. First of all in terms of z, second of all in terms of y, in terms of ABCD, in terms of g, like that. So we have to find out H parameter. H parameter is H11, H12, H21 and H22. First of all in terms of z, in terms of y, in terms of g and in terms of ABCD. As we know that H matrix will be equal to G matrix inverse. G matrix inverse. So it will be G22 upon delta G and minus G12 upon delta G and minus G21 upon delta G and G1 upon delta G. So this is our G parameter. It is very easy, inverse. Then H parameter, how we will calculate? Then H parameter. So first of all I will write V1 and I2, I1 and V2, I1 and V2, H11, H12, H21 and H22. Yes sir. So I will find out first of all V2 is equal to 0. V2 is equal to 0 means I will make V2 is equal to 0, then H11 will be equal to V1 by I1. V1 by I1. V2 is equal to 0. So it is short circuit. V2 is equal to 0, that means it is short circuit. I will write here Y parameter and Z parameter also, so that we can find out easily everything. So Y parameter, it will be Y parameter will be equal to I1 and Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2 and I2 and Y21 V1 and Y22 V2. Yes sir. Z parameter will be equal to I1 V1 Z11 V1 I1, Z12 I2 and V2 Z11 I1, Z21 I1 and Z22 I2. Yes, sir. So first point is V2 is equal to 0. So voltage is 0. So I have to focus on Y parameter. If current is 0, I have to focus on Z parameter. So if voltage is 0, V2 is 0, I have to focus on Y parameter. So I1 upon V1 is equal to 1 by Y11. I1 upon V1 will be equal to 1 by Y11. So it will be 1 by Y11. I have to focus on Y parameter. And H21 will be equal to H21 will be equal to H21 will be equal to what? It will be I2 upon I1. So I2 upon I1 is not present. I2 upon I1 is not present. Yes, I2 upon I1 is not present. So what we'll do? I will do take a ratio of I2 upon I1 and taking V2 is equal to 0. So I2 upon I1 will be equal to Y21 upon Y11. So Y21 upon Y11. Y21 upon Y11. Yes, sir. So this is our I2 is equal to 0. Yes, sir. Then we have another case. What case? We have second case. Second case is I1 is equal to 0. I1 is equal to 0, then we have H12. H12 is equal to V1 by V2. So I1 is equal to 0, H12 V1 by V2. So I will make I1 is equal to 0. And V1 by V2 will be equal to Z12 upon Z22. So Z12 upon Z22. Z12 upon Z22. Yes, sir. And then we have second case H22. H22 is equal to I2 upon V2. I2 upon V2, V2 upon I2 is equal to V2 upon I2 is equal to Z22. So 1 by Z22. 1 by Z22. So this is our parameter. 1 by Y11 will be equal to 1 by Y11 in terms of Z11. So Z22 upon delta Z. Y21 minus Z21. Y11, Y22, Z22. Z1 minus Y21 and Z22, Z1, Y11. 1 by Z22 delta Y upon Y11. So we have find out what? Y parameter, H parameter in terms of Y and Y parameter in H parameter in terms of Z. So we have 1 by 111, Y21. Everywhere Y111, Y111. So everyone where Y11, Y11, Y11 and Y11. Then we have H11. H11 is delta 1, H12 minus Y21, Y21 and Y21 and minus Y21 and Y21 and delta Y. 1 minus Y21, Y21 and delta Y. I will check. 1 y12 y21. Oh, okay, I have done wrong here. In terms of z, in terms of delta z, in terms of z, delta z, and delta z, z12 minus z21, and delta z 1 by z22, 1 by z22 divided by z22 divided by z22 and delta z by z22. ABCD parameters, ABCD parameters divided by d, b by d, delta by d, delta by d, minus 1 by d, and c by d, c by d. Yes, sir. So this is H parameter in terms of Y parameter, G parameter, and ABCD parameters. Like that, you can do ABCD parameters also, G parameters also. So you can do anything in terms of G parameters, ABCD parameters. You can do anything by solving this. So our ABCD parameter I will write. I will write ABCD parameter. ABCD parameter A, B, C, and D. So ABCD parameter in terms of Z. ABCD parameters in terms of Z, Z11, Z21, and delta Z upon Z21, and 1 by Z21, and Z22 upon Z21, Z22 upon Z11, Z21. Yes, sir. Y parameters in terms of Y parameters, minus Y22, and delta Z upon Z21 is equal to, it will be minus 1 by Y by Y21, and minus Y22 upon Y21, 1 by Z21, so delta Y upon minus, so minus sign will be go outside, and Y21, Z22, Y11, minus, and Y21. So this is the parameters in terms of Y. And in terms of H it will be delta H, H21, and H11, H21, and minus H22, H21, and minus 1 by H21. Yes, sir. In terms of G parameter, G is inverse, so delta H upon H21, so minus 1 by G21, 1 by G21. In terms of 1 by H11, so H11 is G22, and it will be minus plus, so G21, and H11, so G11, and G21, 1 by something minus minus plus, so delta G by G21. So in terms of G parameter it will be. So I have just written inverse. If you have a practice, you can do very easily. If you don't have practice, then it will be very tough for you. Okay, then it will be very tough for you. Like that, we have derived so many things. So you have to draw the diagram. You have to, what you have to do? You have to just solve this equation. I will derive y parameter ABCD in terms of y and z parameter. These two things you can derive in terms of h parameter and write down the inverse, you will get the answer. So what you have written, this one is 1 by G21 because we know the relationship between G and H. Yes sir. And H11 will be written as G22 upon delta G, and this one will be written as minus G21 upon delta G. Delta G will be cancelled out, minus will be cancelled out. H22 will be written as G11 upon delta G, and H21 will be written as minus times of G21 upon delta G. Delta G will be cancelled out, minus will be cancelled out. 1 by H21, I can write H21 will be written as minus times of G21 upon delta G, minus will be cancelled out, delta G upon G21. So just replace inverse and you will get the answer. So it is very very easy, but you have to think. If you think, then you will solve this. If you don't think, then you cannot solve this. So for that you have to think. ABCD parameters. So how we will define ABCD parameters in terms of y and z? This you have to know. So V1 is equal to A, V2 minus BI2, yes sir, and I1 is equal to C V2 minus DI2, yes sir. Why I have taken minus? Because in z parameter and y parameter, I2 will be inward current. So V1 and V2, Z11 I1, Z12 I2, and Z21 I1 and Z22 I2, yes sir. In terms of y parameter, what you will write? I1, I2 and Y11 V1, Y12 V2 and Y21 V1 and Y22 V2. So this is our B parameter. Next, what we will do, just convert it. So first of all, what I will do, I will go for A, B, C, D. I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0, open circuit. I2 is equal to 0, open circuit. So it will be A, I1 of V1 upon V2, yes sir, and it will be C, I1 upon V2, yes sir. I2 is equal to 0. I2 is equal to 0. If I will make I2 is equal to 0, then V1 by V2 will be equal to Z11 Z21, Z11 Z21, and I2 is equal to 0. So I2 is equal to 0, V2 by I1 will be I1 by V2 is equal to 1 by Z21. Very easy. 1 by Z21. Very easy. Then I will make B2 is equal to 0. B2 is equal to 0, that means B, V1 by I2, and C, it will be D, it will be I1 by I2, I1 by I2. B2 is equal to 0. So voltage is 0. So we have to think about short circuit. So B2 is equal to 0, I1 by I2 is Y11, yes sir, and divided by Y11 and divided by Y21, yes sir, and this one is I1 by I2, I1 by I2, so I1 by Y2 is equal to Y11 by Y22, So y1 1 upon y2 1, and v1 I2 by v1 it will be equal to 1 by y2 1. Just think over like this. So you have to think, for short circuit it will be y parameter, for open circuit it will be z parameter. Okay, now you know that what is in terms of z parameter. So z11 will be written as y22 and z21 will be written as y21, but minus sign, so minus. It will be written as y minus y21, so y21 minus will be go outside, delta y. It will be written as z21 and minus delta z, and it will be written as z22 and minus, so minus z21. Yes. So in terms of z, it will be AB, so ABCD, so z11 delta z 1 and minus z22, z11 delta z 1 and minus z22. Minus z22. Okay, I will check. Then we have y parameters. Y parameters is minus delta z and minus delta t. Okay, then y parameter will be equal to our A, B, C, D. So minus y22 1, minus y22 and 1. Okay, so sign convention I think some wrong. Minus y22 and 1, and then after okay, I have done wrong. What I have done wrong? Minus, and this one is minus I2 divided by minus I2. So it will be minus plus plus. Okay. And y parameter will be minus y22 minus 1 minus delta y minus 1 1, minus y22 minus 1 minus delta y minus 1 1. Okay. In h parameter also we can find out. So this is the parameter conversion you have to do by yourself. If you do by yourself, then you will get the answer. If you don't do by yourself, then it will be very tough to get the answer. Okay, so you have to do by yourself. Okay, so I will go for next part. First part is two-port network conversion. So what we have studied: ABCD transmission line matrix, ABCD matrix, ABCD parameter, and second one is what we have studied: Z parameters, conversion of relationship between different parameters So relationship between parameters is important. Here. You have to remember, you have to understand what are the relationship. If you know the derivation, then it will be very okay. If you don't know the derivation, then it will be very tough to analyze. Okay, thank you for today class. Thank you everyone.